I'm about to reveal something that might shock you. Something happening inside your body tonight while you sleep that could quietly push you toward a heart attack without a single warning sign. I'm Dr. John Marston, and after more than 32 years as a cardiovascular surgeon, after operating on over 4,000 hearts, after holding arteries in my hands that felt more like brittle chalk than living tissue, I can tell you with absolute certainty that almost everything you've been told about heart health at night is dangerously incomplete. You've been told that sleep is when your body rests, when your heart relaxes, when everything slows down safely. Doctors tell you to just get enough sleep, take your pills in the morning, avoid stress, and you'll be fine. Except that's not what I see, because the truth is far more disturbing. For adults over 60, the hours between midnight and 6 a.m. are one of the most dangerous windows for your cardiovascular system. This is when blood pressure becomes unstable, when oxygen levels fluctuate, when your blood can actually thicken, and when your heart is operating with the least margin for error. And the most terrifying part? What you do in the last 2 hours before bed determines what happens inside your arteries while you're unconscious. Let me tell you about Eleanor. She was 72 years old when I first met her. Active, disciplined, did everything right. She walked every morning, took her blood pressure medication at 8 a.m. sharp for 14 years. Her readings were controlled at 128/78. Her doctor said she was stable. Every night at around 9:30 p.m., she had a large dinner, grilled chicken, rice, sometimes dessert, because that's when her family gathered. She went to bed full, satisfied, believing she was nourishing her body. At 2:17 a.m., her husband woke up to a sound he couldn't explain. By the time paramedics arrived, Eleanor was gone. Massive cardiac event, no warning, no prior symptoms. I later reviewed her data. What I found still makes me angry. Her heart wasn't resting that night. It was under stress. Digestion had pulled blood into her gut like a traffic jam redirecting cars off a highway, forcing her heart to pump harder, raising her nighttime blood pressure when it should have been dropping by at least 10 to 20%. Her vessels, already stiff from age, couldn't adapt. Her blood became slightly thicker due to mild dehydration. And during those early morning hours, when circulation naturally slows, that combination became lethal. Comment below your age and your last blood pressure reading, just the numbers, because what I'm about to explain next will change how you see your nights forever. Because this isn't just about food, it's about a hidden cascade happening in your body, and most doctors never even look for it. Now I'm going to explain the biology, and you need to stay with me because what you're about to learn goes against everything most doctors understand about nighttime heart function. Imagine your cardiovascular system like a city's water supply. During the day, pressure is high, demand is constant, and everything flows fast. At night, the system is supposed to shift into maintenance mode. Pressure drops, flow slows, pipes relax, but in adults over 60, that system doesn't shut down cleanly anymore. The pressure valves don't respond the way they used to. The lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, loses its flexibility. And here's where it gets dangerous. When you eat a heavy meal late at night, your body releases insulin and triglycerides surge into your bloodstream. I've seen this under a microscope. The blood doesn't look smooth and fluid anymore. It looks crowded, thick, like a highway packed with trucks during rush hour. Now imagine those trucks trying to move through narrowing, aging arteries. That's exactly what's happening. First, digestion pulls blood into your gut. Second, your heart rate increases to support that process. Third, your blood pressure rises instead of falling. And here's the part most people don't know. This triggers a protein called endothelin-1, one of the most powerful vasoconstrictors in your body. That means it tightens your blood vessels right when they should be relaxing. This is how a normal night turns into a high-risk event window. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed over 2,000 adults and found that those who ate within 2 hours of sleep had significantly higher nighttime blood pressure and a 52% increased risk of cardiovascular events. Not a small difference. That's the difference between stability and catastrophe. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 68, retired engineer, precise, disciplined. He took his medication every morning, amlodipine 10 milligrams, like clockwork. His daytime readings were perfect, 125 over 80. His doctor was satisfied, but Harold had what we call nocturnal hypertension. His blood pressure didn't drop at night. It actually increased. Why? Because his medication had worn off by the time he went to sleep. At 3:40 a.m., his blood pressure spiked to over 180 systolic. He never felt it. No pain, no warning, just pressure building silently inside his arteries like a pipe about to burst. He suffered a stroke in his sleep, permanent damage, all because the timing of his treatment didn't match the timing of his risk. Comment night if you take your blood pressure medication only in the morning, because this next part is critical. There's a second mechanism happening at the same time, and it's even more dangerous. It involves oxygen, breathing, and something that can stop your heart multiple times per night without you ever waking up. And if you miss this, nothing else you do will fully protect you. Now we move into the second and third mechanisms, and this is where everything connects in a way that most doctors never explain clearly, because they treat each problem separately instead of seeing the cascade that happens every single night in your body. The second mechanism is oxygen instability, and it's driven primarily by undiagnosed sleep apnea. Imagine your airway like a tunnel that should stay open all night, allowing oxygen to flow smoothly into your bloodstream. But in many adults over 60, that tunnel collapses intermittently. Each time it closes, oxygen levels drop. Your brain panics. It sends out emergency signals, releasing adrenaline, spiking your heart rate, constricting your blood vessels, and forcing your blood pressure upward. This can happen 20, 30, even 50 times per hour. I've monitored patients where their heart was essentially being shocked awake all night long, not resting, not recovering, fighting for oxygen, and every spike damages the inner lining of your arteries, the glycocalyx, that thin protective layer that keeps your vessels smooth like Teflon. Once that layer is damaged, plaque sticks more easily, clots form faster, and your risk multiplies. A study in JAMA followed patients with untreated sleep apnea and found a 2 to 3 times higher risk of heart attack and stroke, not over decades, within years. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 74, complained of fatigue, morning headaches, and occasional dizziness. Her doctor told her it was just aging. She snored, but no one thought much of it. During a sleep study we later conducted, her oxygen dropped to 82% repeatedly through the night. Her heart rate was surging, crashing, surging again, like revving an engine over and over while parked. 3 months later, before treatment could stabilize her, she developed atrial fibrillation. Her heart rhythm became chaotic, all because her body was suffocating silently every night. Comment tired if you wake up feeling exhausted even after a full night's sleep, because that is not normal, and it is not aging. Now the third mechanism, and this one is subtle but deadly, is dehydration-induced blood thickening. Think of your blood like a flowing river. When properly hydrated, it moves smoothly, carrying oxygen and nutrients efficiently. But when you reduce fluids in the evening, trying to avoid waking up at night, that river turns sluggish, thicker, slower. Platelets become more likely to stick together. Clots form more easily. Now combine that with reduced nighttime movement and already narrowed arteries, and you have the perfect storm. This is why so many cardiac events occur in the early morning hours. Not random, not unpredictable. A cascade. Oxygen drops, pressure spikes, blood thickens, vessels constrict. And then one moment, one blockage, one failure. But here's the shift. This is reversible. Not managed, not controlled, reversed. I'm going to start giving you specific actions now, things you can begin adjusting immediately to protect your heart tonight, but you need to understand this first. Small changes in your evening routine can completely alter what happens inside your arteries while you sleep. Comment ready if you want the exact steps, because in the next part, I'm going to give you the full protocol. Now I'm going to give you the complete protocol, and you need to pay close attention, because this is where everything changes. This is where you stop being a passive patient and start controlling what happens inside your body every single night. The first component is meal timing, not what you eat. When you eat. Your last substantial meal should be at least 3 to 4 hours before sleep, not 90 minutes, not 2 hours, minimum 3 hours. Here's why. That allows insulin levels to stabilize, triglycerides to clear, and blood flow to return to your core circulation instead of being trapped in your digestive system. The second component is hydration. You do not cut off fluids completely. That is a mistake. Instead, you taper intelligently. Drink 300 to 400 milliliters of water about 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Enough to maintain blood fluidity, not enough to overload your bladder. This keeps your blood from turning into that slow, sticky sludge that forms clots. The third component is medication timing. If you are taking blood pressure medication only in the morning, this is a conversation you must have with your doctor. Bring the research. Show them data from trials like the Hygia chronotherapy study, which demonstrated significantly improved nighttime blood pressure control and reduced cardiovascular events when medication timing was adjusted. Most doctors, when they see evidence, will consider it, but some won't. And if your doctor refuses to even discuss timing, you need a second opinion, because this is about protection during your highest risk window. The fourth component is oxygen stability. If you snore, if you wake up tired, if you have morning headaches, you need to be evaluated for sleep apnea, not later, now. Because no supplement, no diet, no medication can override repeated oxygen deprivation. The fifth component is temperature control. Your room should be between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius. Not too warm, not too cold, because heat increases heart rate and fluid loss, while cold constricts vessels and raises pressure. You want stability, calm, controlled conditions. Now let me tell you about Thomas. He was 70 when he came to me after a minor cardiac scare, not catastrophic, but enough to wake him up. We adjusted his evening routine, earlier meals, structured hydration. He worked with his physician to shift part of his medication timing. He was diagnosed with mild sleep apnea and treated. Within months, his nighttime blood pressure normalized. His morning readings improved. His energy came back. No more early morning spikes. No more silent stress on his heart. This works, but only if you act. Now listen carefully. Subscribe to this channel right now because YouTube will not show you this information again unless you engage with it. And your subscription could save not just you, but someone in your family. Leave a comment and tell me your age and whether you eat late, hydrate properly, or wake up tired. Every comment pushes this information to someone who needs it. Share this video with anyone over 60. Text it, send it, because somewhere tonight, someone is going to bed thinking they are safe when they are not. I've created a complete nighttime heart protection guide with everything structured clearly. Click the link in the description and join the newsletter to get it. Comment one of 3 things right now. Early if you will change your meal timing, water if you will fix hydration, or sleep if you suspect breathing issues. Bookmark this. Review it. Because what you do tonight determines what happens at 3 a.m. And before you go, watch the next video on your screen, because even with all of this, there is one morning habit that could undo everything if you ignore it.